I didn't know what was wrong with my little boy, but I knew that he was different from all the other little boys or children I had seen.
One day I was watching television and there was a PSA talking about autism, and this was Ruth Christ Sullivan, and so I said, oh. So the next time I went to my doctor, I asked him about autism. He said, oh, no, ain't nothing wrong with that boy. He's a big old healthy boy.
They diagnosed me with atypical development, strong autistic tendencies, and being psychotic. And they recommended separation from my family in an institution.
I'm a parent of a child on the spectrum, and I'm on the spectrum myself. And that puts me in an unusual position, looking at his life as he lives it.
When I said, what's wrong with my little boy? She says, it's called autism, but she said, there's nothing wrong with your little boy. You're just an over-anxious mother. She later invited me to a group therapy session. So I accepted, knowing that other parents like me would be there. I set my slip of paper around so we could meet again as a group, but she didn't know it, and we began a parents group. I contacted Bernard Rimland, the author of Infantile Autism, and I said to him, we need to form a national organization. He wrote back and said, I've called a meeting of all the parents who have read my book and written to me, and we're meeting in Teaneck, New Jersey on November the 25th, and I invite you to come. So we did. We fell on each other that night. This is the first time most of us had met other parents of autistic children. Remember now, there is no federal law that says handicapped people can go to school. Well, we wanted a right to go to school. And we were able to work with the other agencies who had been there long before us. We're the new kid on the block. And we are small, but we're loud. And we're passionate. They're not used to that kind of passion. Our kids are harder to take care of. Our kids needed more staff. We knew that we would be costly once we got programs, but to their credit, we got along enough to get our name in the National Education for All Handicap law. Why is this terrible disorder so unlooked at among scientists? Well, mostly because they didn't get money for it. So we knew we had to have money for this. We campaigned for years. It was a very, very small amount of money they began to have. I think they started out with $2 million. The next it was $10 million, which is big if you have nothing, but that can't do a lot of research. And gradually it grew.
Autism is seen as a genetic disorder, an inherited disorder, a disorder that is fated to occur. It's seen as a static disorder, something that happens and you have it forever, a lifelong problem, and basically incurable. We know enough now to know that autism is more than a genetic condition. But the environment seems to be important. I think it's much more inclusive and much more constructive to frame this as a whole body condition that includes the brain and also includes much more. And we might as well do autism from a 21st century systems perspective and look at it as a whole body condition. Studs Terkel said, hope never trickles down, it always springs up. And I think the people with direct experience of autism have something to contribute that's absolutely necessary, and they need to have their voices heard and respected in all the different forms the voices may take.
I think my greatest hope for Troy and his future is that he become more independent and hopefully live a somewhat, I guess if it's normal life, if there's such a thing as a normal life, instead of staying home with his parents.
I think the most important thing for the younger generation of parents and professionals who are coming up is that they stay involved. But it takes the energy of a passionate group. One mother alone can't do it. One professional alone can't. They'll burn out. You can't. So we need to get together, and the best organization in the country, in the world, to do this for autism is the Autism Society of America.
In the future, I'd love to see young people in general join us in the autism awareness movement. And as much as you work hard to protect the civil rights of other groups, perhaps it's now time for you to think about individuals with disabilities, individuals with autism.
The Autism Society is devoted to building better lives and a better world for people on the autism spectrum. And who would better know what is good for people with autism than people with autism?
I think the Autism Society is going to bring together the accomplishments of the 20th century with the tools of the 21st century. We're going to turbocharge the networks, and we're going to allow and give the capability to people on the ground, the ability to bring their observations together, to share what they know, to create knowledge, to create science, to bring together what we need to know to figure out this huge, sprawling, complex, heterogeneous crisis.